Chat, here we go. We begin the cross-region final for the Fall 5K. These 4 players in this final bracket proves that they are ahead above the rest in their respective regionals. Ruass winning his regional without ever losing enough games to even drop a single best of 7. He lost 3 games throughout the entire tournament. Truly an insanely dominant performance from him. And he is here to continue that up in his run through the cross-region final. On the other side of the field of him today is Firstkiller. Firstkiller got second in the North American tournament, but just barely did he get second as he fell to apparently Jack in Game 7 of a best of 7 series in the grand final. So Firstkiller looking solid. He's only ever lost that 1 match on my stream. Every other oh, wait, these guys have the same exact car today. That's going to make it nice and easy to watch. But anyways, as I was saying, that was the first ever loss on stream. He's looked really good in tournaments when I've had him on. And by all means, should be expected to play well here against Ruass. Both of these guys are in the Karmine Corps Fennec white decal, so that you're really going to have to watch the nameplates today. Ruass starting off early with a 2-0 lead. The last time that these guys played against each other, I think, was in Gamers 8. These guys matched up, I want to say, only once when FaZe played F16 at Gamers 8. And it was the best of 1. Ruass was able to win that one, but I think that was a different 1v1 prowess of Firstkiller. I think Firstkiller has put some work into 1v1 since then. I know he played some show matches after, and I think he's just been playing a bit more ranked. I feel like I've seen him playing it more often. I could be wrong about that, but he definitely is on a different form, and we'll see if that's enough today, because I think Ruass is actually on a different form as well. It's not just Firstkiller who's playing better. Ruass has been playing amazing. He has looked like maybe the best 1v1 player in the world, and I talked about this on Twitter, but this weekend, the next few days, somebody has an opportunity to make an amazing case for best in the world. One of the strongest for best in the world that we've seen in a long time, since there's a couple different tournaments with almost everybody playing in them. And Ruass is definitely one of them. If he could win both the Fall 5K and the Pro Drops, he would have a really, really solid argument for best in the world. But first, he has to get through Firstkiller. He might have started up 2-0. Firstkiller's found his way back. He did so with a bump on the goal line, and then now a nice flick, crossbar down. Ruass is one of the harder players to get by when he's in his shadow position, something that he really likes to do on defense. Firstkiller finds his way around. He's going to have to clean up his kickoffs, though. Cannot be losing kickoffs directly into your net like this and get away with it over a long series. Wave dash kickoff, it looked like, for Firstkiller there, without getting goal side, which I do think is what some people do with their single jump kickoffs. I think sometimes they like to go on diagonals, and I don't think you can really get around the ball correctly if you're going to try and wave dash them, but obviously it didn't work there against Ruass. Ruass, he loves his power shots. He's going to find his opportunities to shoot long shots on you at every possible chance, because he has just really liked the booming ball recently in ones. Even when you have a defender in net, he's been just slamming it really hard off the backboard and then working from there. What happened here from Firstkiller? He did not seem to recognize that he needed to get back. Oh, he just missed this boost completely, yeah. Definitely something weird went on because he was way too late on the recovery. But even if he did get that boost, he turned upfield with it, which is kind of crazy behavior considering Ruass was collecting and looking to attack towards his half. We're on EU service here. I actually didn't get a look at the ping. I'm interested now, so I'm going to take a quick check. 8 ping for Firstkiller and 92 for Ruass, something that he's used to dealing with on EU servers. But I'll be honest, I didn't expect quite the advantage for Firstkiller in terms of connection. But the Netherlands has had some under 10 ping players before. I feel like Ruass can get some great servers, so it doesn't surprise me, assuming that that's where Firstkiller is. Could be somewhere else in preparation in a boot camp. Ruass not going to be able to dunk this one. Actually, really all-in play from him. Surprised to see him be so greedy for that, because this bounce is very likely going to be a Firstkiller goal. I mean, he still got back in time to, in theory, threaten it, or pressure it, I mean. But that's only because the bounce was pretty unfortunate. I think most results of that challenge from Ruass leads to a completely uncontested goal for Firstkiller. When does Ruass go to Rotterdam? Yeah, apparently Rw9 is going. I think they go later next week. This is going to be the difference right now. Let's see. What did Firstkiller do? Oh, he's going for these wave dash kickoffs directly into the ball diagonally, which is kind of interesting because it's almost the exact same kickoff that just got him scored on. He just went ahead and tried it again. And Ruass went ahead and just played a really solid standard kickoff again, and he gets an immediate goal. So, wow, Ruass. When he brings the aerial game into it too, there's not much you can do. If he is on point everywhere, it's going to be a tough game. And look at that. Oh my goodness, that reset and shot from Ruass. 7-4. A lot of that edge coming off of kickoffs, but proving to maybe be the better player in the open field as well. Firstkiller just taking a dive to steal this back corner boost. Ruass, a 1-2 pinch, immediately relieves the pressure, and it's going to be able to get him a boost just barely. That midfield boost spawning right as he's about to pass over it. His first challenge attempt on Firstkiller's dribble pays off, and now he's low on boost once again. Trying to clear the spot into the orange half. Great catch and cut by Firstkiller, and top right, no, Ruass, what a save. Firstkiller was trying to put immediate pressure on a recovering zero boost defender, but what he forgot was that defender was Ruass, who doesn't seem to be bothered by it, and the counterattack gets him an 8th. Ruass, my goodness. The defense from him has always been his calling card, and that's not going to change here today. I can't stress enough how that flick that Firstkiller did, great placement behind the defender. I mean, almost every defender just misses that save. That's a really good setup, and you score on it almost against any opponent that isn't Ruass. He had that read, and now he's got a 4-goal lead. He just bumped Firstkiller into a shot, so it will be a 5th goal for Firstkiller. Interesting backflip. I wonder if he could have half flipped there and it would have even been better for him, but instead he stayed forward, and Ruass just basically half flipped for him by bumping him back towards the ball. Ruass passing to himself off the backboard. He knows Firstkiller's going to steal the boost and chase him down, but he escapes the whole time and then gets a goal. I thought Ruass was just doing his best damage control from a poor situation, but it turns out he was just trying to score. How did he not get demoed there? My goodness, Ruass. Thank you, Death Wings, and I am not a cook. 18 months of Tier 1 and a Prime, respectively. Firstkiller gonna get a demo, but man, Ruass, 10-5. If Ruass is scoring double digits on you, you're gonna have a really hard time. What he does best is keeps you from scoring. He is scoring like this. It's going to be a rough series, but it is a long series. Best of 7 today between these two. Winner gets $400 guaranteed and moves on to the grand final for a chance at $1,000. Loser is done. That's it. Single elimination here in this final cross-region battle. Nice flick by Firstkiller. But it's a bit too little too late with 9 seconds left to go. Ruass trying to get one last goal for the momentum to be on his side, but it's not going to happen. And he'll let the ball hit the ground. GG's from both these guys. Ruass takes the early lead. YouTube, your support has been insane. We have made it to $11,000 towards the prize pool. Remember, subscribe and you can push it to the max of $15,000. Game number 2. Ruass and Firstkiller. Ruass dominating this first game off of saves and kickoffs. One of those things probably a bit easier to solve if you're Firstkiller, and I would say that is kickoffs. You can mix up the kickoff usually enough to at least let them go neutral instead of losing them directly into your net. Firstkiller just needs to stop doing that wave dash kickoff on the diagonal, which has not worked for him. If he cleans that up, he'll at least be able to take one of Ruass's advantages away, but I don't think you can ever really take away the fact that he is elite in his net. You could try your best to put on exclusively great shots, and yet Ruass will still find a way to save and counter them. But this is a fix of the kickoff here. Firstkiller wave dashing on a more central kickoff, which makes a bit more sense. No reason for him to stop doing that yet, because that hasn't been what's been leading to Ruass immediate goals. What's been leading to Ruass immediate goals has been the diagonals. Firstkiller in the air off the kickoff. Another first possession in his favor. Wow, what a read from Ruass. Firstkiller was threatening using that flip, but didn't seem to phase him. Bumped away his Firstkiller. Ruass just gonna catch and flick and caught Firstkiller off guard. And this is, I think, a situation where he might be benefiting from the fact that he loves to power shoot, because Firstkiller feels the need to get back in front of the net with how often Ruass has just been launching shots. Firstkiller is not going to go all the way to the corner. Oh, sorry, I just destroyed you guys. Forgot that I'm in full screen. You missed a goal. We'll watch the replay here. I'll fix that so it doesn't happen again. But Ruass, goal line 50 off the kickoff for a third. Three-1 lead. Ruass threatening escaping once again and putting a lot of space between him and Firstkiller. Firstkiller just diving past this ball. Ruass playing keep away as he pogos it up around the goal line. The fake jump and then the backwards challenges. Did he backwards wave dash there too as well? He might have backwards wave dashed into that. Either way, Firstkiller was not expecting him to reverse back into the ball and make a play on net. That's got himself a fourth goal. Firstkiller diving to the midfield to steal the boost in order to send Ruass all the way back into net. And he's going to go for an air triple bump, but took it too high off of his first couple touches. And Ruass barely even needs to save that. Good bump from Firstkiller. He should be able to finish this one off. Second goal. He has needed to starve Ruass out and then bump him out of his net in order to guarantee that he doesn't make a save. Doesn't seem like there's any other way to do it. Just making him be on zero boost isn't enough. So you got to make sure that you push him out of the way as well. Ruass, oh my goodness, the placement. Another kickoff win should be noted because Ruass has been so good at converting his free possessions off kickoff wins. This time it comes from launching a shot crossbar down. Wave dash kickoff for Ruass is slightly better for a couple different reasons. Won it into the orange half and was on the ground faster. Now he's going to wave dash this one away, set it up to himself, and tap it in for a sixth. He is just dancing around Firstkiller right now. It is normally incredibly hard to work through a defender when you're playing from the back wall on offense, because there's just seemingly no angle to attack. But not if you're Ruass. It's not an issue at all. He is so quick with his ground control. He'll pop the ball past you, and Firstkiller has to be really careful on when he makes those challenges. Missed touch by Ruass. Can Firstkiller capitalize? He can. A nice flick near post. Ruass has more than enough in the tank. Let's watch his defensive position here. Just really tentative from Ruass. Tried to get to his shadow, but was too deep in the midfield considering Firstkiller's cut was likely to lead towards that near post, since that was his only way to turn it around. Ruass, low 50. Firstkiller keeps it out. Now he's looking a bit awkward on his back wall, and that might have led to Ruass putting on a shot he otherwise wouldn't have. This Firstkiller does get a fairly easy save. Backwards challenge is risky for sure from Firstkiller, and it's going to get him scored on. Thought maybe it was going to pay off there for a second, but it absolutely does not. And there's a reason why you don't see a ton of people double jumping into a reverse challenge very often. Firstkiller able to get back to this one. Prevents another quick kickoff goal. Ruass into his back corner has Firstkiller laying underneath, waiting for his opportunity to take it away. And this demo on the back wall should be a goal for Firstkiller. Soft touch, wait, the pre-flip. He slow rolls it in. I guess if Firstkiller had took an immediate shot, Ruass might have been able to save this. Wow, I'm a little bit laggy, but that spawn and jump save looked incredibly fast. Like otherworldly fast. I think that was a little bit of lag though from the replay or from me or something. Firstkiller, wow, that's actually a great flip back to net. He was in a tough spot, and being able to pre-flip and get that solid of a challenge on the ball, it's pretty impressive. Now he's got to dribble. He's going to need to score on some of these attempts right now. It feels like Ruass scores on almost all of them. In fact, Firstkiller's not even going to take a shot on his first time around. He has recognized that Ruass has the saves if he does that. So this time, he just cuts it to the corner and says, I'll starve you out. I'll pull you out of net. I'll try and make you make a mistake. Because obviously, you feel so comfortable in net. And turns out, that worked perfectly. Got Ruass onto the back wall and was unable to recover to the Firstkiller shot. He's trying to bump Ruass off his line right now. Is able to steal the back corner boost and the midfield. Can he chase Ruass down? He cannot, but he should be able to get a goal, yeah. I don't know what Ruass could do here. Maybe he needs to just bail on stealing the boost. I think he's just trying to evade a bump. So does he have to jump and like half flip out of the bump evade? I don't know what the answer is for him to not just leave the net open, but it certainly isn't just diving into the corner. This Firstkiller will very likely just get his open net. But it still is a Ruass lead. 7-6 bounce dribble saved by Firstkiller. Good read. Actually a good enough read to immediately end the possession. He's going to take to the skies. Reset near the ceiling. The musty is way too soft. That's a goal for Ruass. I mean, you have to put on a perfect shot. There's a reason why we haven't seen Firstkiller doing that much after the first game, is because Ruass doesn't let you get away with it. I mean, not a lot of players in ones, honestly, are going to let you get away with that one. That finish was one that I think most players are just counterattacking. But definitely not Ruass. Ruass not going to be able to get that boost, but will get the demo. Now the bounce dribble. He's deciding not to bump Firstkiller on the goal line. It seemed like a clear way through, but he had another plan, which is to do the same thing to Firstkiller that Firstkiller did to him a moment ago. Bring it to the corner and pull in that defender out of the net so that you can get it past them and shoot without anybody in the way. 3-goal lead, 7 seconds left to go. A better game here for Firstkiller. Still, Ruass almost scoring 10 goals again. Firstkiller trying to style. It'd be nice to see that go in at the end of this game, but he won't. It's going to be a 2-0 lead for Ruass. So we had to game number 3. Game number 3. Ruass and Firstkiller. Ruass going to start immediately in the lead. Firstkiller is switching it up. Instead of just mirroring Ruass with the same exact car, he has thrown on whatever this decal is. I couldn't tell you what it is, but I'm sure chat knows. Chat always knows. A switch up, but still the Fennec for Firstkiller. And I want to say that I watched Firstkiller until maybe the playoffs of this tournament play in the Octane, almost exclusively in 1v1. I feel like he played an Octane in the Swamp for sure. I thought he played an Octane the beginning parts of the previous tournament, but he's definitely been all Fennec in recent memory. Ruass going to air dribble bump him. A great kickoff win. And wow, I mean the placement on that shot too. Crossbar down. We talk all the time about air dribble bumps and needing to be placed well in order to work. But Ruass is going to place it perfect. He's not just going to place it good enough. He's going to make it exactly where it would be best and also hit the bump as well. Ruass air dribble to near the ceiling. If his aerial game is on point too, what can you do? I mean, the other problem though, as I talked about before, is Ruass has gotten first possession every single kickoff so far. All 3 have been first possession for him, and then he's converting, which has made it seem like he's, you know, absolutely unstoppable. And you just need to stop him in one of 2 ways. You either need to slow down his kickoff so that he doesn't have the first possession every single time, or you do need to stop him in the open field a little bit more. Oh my goodness, Firstkiller missed this one. Trying to play it extra fast. Definitely had a free opportunity if he slowed down just a little bit. Instead, he slammed it off the near post. And now, does not have a goal a minute in. Ruass, ground dribble, recognizes that he needs some boost to work with, so just cuts it to the corner instead of taking a shot. Firstkiller is able to handle that possession easily. And can he find anything here? No, he cannot. He was maybe thinking about flicking, maybe thinking about bumping, but you need to have a perfect plan and you need to execute it if you want to get past this defender. And that is not what Firstkiller had. 4-0 for Ruass. Ruass, I mean, every kickoff in his favor, and then 100% conversion rate. There's just nothing you can do about that. It's just perfect gameplay. I mean, there's just, I don't know what to say. I mean, obviously Ruass is doing everything right, so it's hard to say specifically what's going well for him. Firstkiller has control of a first possession for the first time in a while, and what does he do with it? A double reset shot, impressive, but Ruass gets the save. And I think that's what we need for Firstkiller. I think what we're going to need is basically that play, but for it to work if we want to see him make his way back into this series. I think he needs a mental edge that would come from scoring something like that and feeling like, okay, he's not invincible in net. If I play well enough, I actually can score against him. But right now, you couldn't possibly feel that way, since the only way to score on him seems to be to try and bait him out of net. See if you can convince him to leave net for whatever reason, and then try and outplay around him. This time, air dribble bump from Ruass connects, and it's in. Hey, there's perfect placement too. We got to give credit where credit is due. We talked about Ruass's perfect placement. This is also perfect placement from Firstkiller. A little bit less speed on his dribble, but the fact that it goes crossbar down means it was as hard as possible for Ruass to save, and therefore makes him a little bit easier to intercept on the air dribble bump. Ruass, wave dash, chip up. Firstkiller has that save. Able to grab the boost in the corner. He's just going to let Ruass drive away. I don't know if we see Firstkiller slightly tilting there. Watching him in the corner, just feeling like, what do I do? I can't follow him out there. That hasn't worked. I can't wait a net. That hasn't worked. So he just seemed to have dropped the controller there. If Ruass has control, Firstkiller doesn't seem to have faith. And he's not able to save this one. I mean, that one definitely seemed like a mistake from Firstkiller. No doubt he should have had that. And this is what I'm talking about in terms of, if you could have seen that double reset goal go in, I think there's something that this just does for the mental that helps in the long term. Much more than just a single goal would help him in this game. 6-2 for, I mean, oh my god, Ruass. He is just playing another level of 1v1 right now. Such a fast setup to himself off the wall. I mean, maybe Firstkiller, I mean, he didn't have to be that good. I think he could have been a bit slower on that shot, and he still would have scored. But, of course, he just did it perfect and left Firstkiller absolutely nowhere near it. Firstkiller, nice play. Got Ruass to come all the way to the back wall. Not something that Ruass likes to do very often. In fact, he pretty much drove to the ball but didn't decide to touch it. I think Ruass feeling good in this matchup, which is actually the danger that could lead to Firstkiller finding a bit of rhythm. If Ruass gets a bit of overconfidence and maybe starts being a bit greedy, going for crazier stuff, leaving a couple windows open, maybe there's a chance Firstkiller gets some confidence back in this game. Right now, I still don't think he's there yet, as Ruass gets Firstkiller to jump, and the finish is easy. Teebs, thank you for the prime. Firstkiller, wall air dribble again. I do think that he has to just go for broke every time he attacks in the air if he's going to. I mean, you could say just don't attack through the air because Ruass has such a good defensive stand against it, but I mean, the ground game hasn't been going his way. Firstkiller from the ceiling. A bit too strong of a pop. Really no way for him to get it back down. Ruass up early, able to steal that corner boost in order to prevent this self-pass off the back wall from Firstkiller. He's going to go back to his net. Where is he headed? What is he doing? He's just going to get demoed. Firstkiller cannot seem to figure it out here against Ruass. What is it going to take from First to get back in this? Might need to start going for complete fakes on the kickoffs, complete disregards. I mean, he didn't even want to defend that one. Game forfeits are allowed. I don't know if Firstkiller knows, but 7 goals, 45 seconds. Doesn't seem to think he's in this one. As he backflips around the map. Ruass, I think, recognizing that he has won as well. So they're going to count down this 30 seconds. A 3-0 lead for Ruass. We are still in this. We've seen a couple, or at least one crazy reverse sweep. I'm not sure that when Jack reverse swept Daniel, it was as dominant a performance as Ruass has put on here. Ruass rolling one to first. I want everybody to try pogos. That's my preferred time waster. See how much everyone has practiced their pogo. Firstkiller hopping out. I imagine we'll see maybe Octane. Seems like it's time for Octane or something. But we'll see as we head to game number 4. Game number 4. Firstkiller is in the Octane. And that seems like an obvious move here in this final game. See what the Octane can do for you. He's actually going to go back to Carmine Corp as well. And I actually love what I've seen from Firstkiller here in the first second. Obviously, he scored the goal, so how can you not love that? But he's just playing very unorthodox to start this one. He's decided to just not even move towards the ball, slowly rolling, forcing Ruass to do something, because what Ruass likes to do, he likes to react on his shadow. He wants you to shoot, and he wants to save, and then he escapes, and then he's scoring on you. So Firstkiller basically says, no, you will go first. I refuse to go first. I'm going to stand behind this ball and make you touch it so that I can eventually score. And it works out for him. And now the air dribble reset. Firstkiller is alive in this game number 4. If you were worried about him, he got his shock to the chest. And he is here to play in game 4 in the first 24 seconds. Will that continue for the rest of what would be a very long series if Firstkiller were to bring it back? That is yet to be seen. Oh my goodness. The Octane was the answer so far. The wave dash kickoff. Everything going his way. These wave dash kickoffs were really, Ruass was winning every single one of them. I mean, not even when Ruass was matching him on the wave dash, he was winning. When Ruass wasn't, he was winning. But now, Firstkiller has found his edge. Even this one, Ruass is being a bit greedy, trying to stay with. That's probably the touch that'll be good enough to buy him time. But he was looking for that touch the whole time, because without it, he was going to be getting scored on for free. That first, that own goal for Firstkiller might have been able to just completely erase all the momentum he got here in the beginning minutes. But luckily, it didn't go in. If he had just tapped it in his own net, I think that certainly would have been enough to stop any sort of goodwill he's got in his brain. But right now, it is just a single Ruass goal coming off the back of his own efforts instead of Firstkiller just giving it to him. Firstkiller kickoff win directly into net. I mean, you don't need to be an expert to see the difference in this game number 4 so far. Did Firstkiller get any of these in the previous 3 games. Firstkiller staying aggressive. 35 boost, saved a good amount, picked up a couple of pads, felt like he could stay there, but does leave. Ruass air dribble. Ruass is not taking anything too fancy on these dribbles. He's just doing exactly what he needs to. He has a feeling that Firstkiller is coming to challenge him early. And so giving the ball just a little bit of extra height, a little bit of an early touch is the perfect counter. Not hard to execute either. I mean, the reason why Firstkiller is diving there is he's expecting Ruass to slow the ball a little bit, maybe go for a reset. That's what a lot of air dribblers are doing nowadays. Firstkiller hasn't really done that in this series so far. He's just stuck to the basic early pop, which is a great counter to that challenge. Firstkiller is so close to getting a goal here. Just barely not able to do so. Nice challenge. Can he get a long shot? He can. The net just seems to be more open now. All of a sudden he's in an octane and he's getting his more chances on an undefended net. Ruass diving all the way into the orange half and not winning that challenge as much as he needed to. Ruass, great 50. Wave dash with it as well. Perfect execution. Saw Firstkiller diving in, forbidden him an aggressive challenge, so he single jumps into the ball, saves his wave dash so that he can be quicker on the recovery, and then such a smooth catch. Everything there went exactly according to his plan. And Firstkiller, who flipped into the ball, was guaranteed to be recovering later. This dribble stopped and this dribble countered, so that was more like what we saw in the previous games from the air dribbles from Firstkiller. Ruass using them as passes, basically, for his own shots. And it happens once again. I think Firstkiller is not going to be able to fight through Ruass in net. This play seems to work well for him, and I actually like it. I like how effective this is. Just slowly roll the ball at him, and then make him make a soft touch. Because if you don't give the ball power, then Ruass can't save it with power. And that's actually something that in the many Ruass Moxie matchups that we've had before, Moxie started to realize that if he flicked soft right behind the back of Ruass's car when he was shadowing, that he couldn't really save it. He would save it, but not strong enough, and then Moxie could follow it up. And that's the same mindset that Firstkiller has had with a couple of these plays. If he just rolls it slowly into Ruass, then he can't actually clear it, and then he'll get the eventual goal. Now, Ruass has done this a few times now. Firstkiller keeps diving on him in the corner. And, I mean, with 0 boost, he probably feels like he needs to make a play near the ball, that he's not going to be able to react on the goal line. So he wants to just close the distance. But Ruass has had that read. I feel like Firstkiller has been doing a ton of early challenges, and Ruass has just been going over him every time. Free jump from Firstkiller. Going to be really hard to protect the net the whole way. He's even going to throw a nice one for it. Thought the power shot was coming, felt like he needed to jump for it, and then did his best to stick with the ball despite making the wrong decision, and wasn't enough. Kickoff win for Firstkiller. Couldn't get enough power on it to score immediately. Ruass is just going to try and score. He sees Firstkiller looking to steal the boost. He says, "I'm not worried about that, bud. My ground game is too good." This catch and setup with the 20 boost that he saved was more than enough to score this goal. I mean, Firstkiller was nowhere around. Firstkiller now. Air dribble. Not air dribble. A setup to a flick. A small pop to a flick. Able to tie this one back up. It felt like every time Ruass has gotten the lead, he's just run away with it and not let Firstkiller back into it. So actually a good sign that as soon as Ruass got his edge, Firstkiller evens it back up. But Ruass kickoff goal, 8-7. Another kickoff win for Ruass. His aerial game has been very effective. His wall to air dribble has led to goals more often than not. This time it's going to come off the back of a fake. And it wouldn't surprise me if Ruass saw Firstkiller high on the back wall and thought a falling bounce is going to be one of the hardest things for Firstkiller to stop. So I'll just throw a flip that isn't actually intended to touch the ball, and Firstkiller likely to react and miss. Another kickoff goal. Wow. You know how I said as soon as Ruass got control of the game, he really ran away with it? Well, it turns out he is doing so, just with a slight hiccup. 3 straight. A minute 24 left to go. And the way the whole series has been going, it feels like it's almost insurmountable, which is crazy to say because, of course, 3 goals in a 1v1 this much time is incredibly doable. We just saw Ruass score 3 times in 20 seconds, it felt like. But he has just been dominating. 11-7. Ruass punishing what was a poor take off the back wall from Firstkiller. Is he going to keep running it up? Another kickoff in his favor. The signs of life from Firstkiller we saw at the beginning of the game are getting stuffed out right now. Really great movement on that reset, but Firstkiller able to save it with ease. Attacking through the air, Ruass in and out of his net, and Firstkiller just making the movement way too far away from Ruass, who wasn't pressuring him at all by going in and out of the net. And I think the right play is probably to wait longer and make the movement near net when Ruass is going to be completely out of position. But instead, Firstkiller from long distance tries to reset and get past him, and Ruass saves and counters. 12-7. Super high scoring series between these two. Pretty much every single game. Did Ruass get double digits in half of them? And then maybe 9 or 8 in the others? I think Ruass has done it. Ruass is going to the grand final. 12-7. A final air dribble to put the cherry on top of what was an incredible performance from Ruass. Firstkiller going to get a double and likely an 8th goal, but I don't see him getting 4 in 5 seconds. My goodness. Ruass. This has been one of the most dominant series I've seen in a while. I mean, Firstkiller, he scored goals. There were very high-scoring games. It's not like Firstkiller was completely shut out, but Ruass just scored even more. A 4-0 sweep for him. He'll head to the grand finals and represent the EU region. The EU Middle East region, I should say. He's Saudi Arabia. But the EU MENA. What's the name for EU MENA? We should come up with one.